Have you ever lain awake long after the house has gone quiet? Your body tired but your mind still traveling. Have you noticed how the day ends, yet the thoughts refuse to bow? Have you felt that subtle weight in the chest, as if sleep is nearby but will not enter? It is late evening. The light is dim. Your phone rests face down beside the bed. The ceiling fan hums softly, steady and familiar. Your shoulders are heavy. Your eyes burn slightly from the day. Yet inside, the mind is still arranging conversations, replaying moments, planning tomorrows that have not yet arrived. This is not failure. This is not weakness. This is a mind that has been carrying responsibility, duty, expectation, and care for many hours without rest. In our lives, we are taught to remain alert, useful, prepared. Even at night, the inner guard does not easily step aside. But Dharma never asks you to force rest. It invites you to soften into it. The Buddha once spoke of the mind as a restless monkey, always leaping, always grasping. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna reminds Arjuna that peace arises not from control, but from surrender to the right moment. Night is that moment. Right now, nothing more is required of you. No decisions. No solving. No improvement. Your breath is already moving. The body already knows how to let go. Sleep is not something you must achieve. It is something you allow. Tonight, you are not here to understand deeply or strive spiritually. You are here to be held by a gentle story. A simple unfolding. A quiet return. Let the world loosen its grip for a while. Let Dharma carry what you no longer need to hold. And let us begin, slowly, exactly where rest has always waited. The first teaching, non-self. Stop taking everything personally. It is close to midnight. The house has settled. Outside, a distant dog barks once. Then silence returns. You lie on your back, one hand resting on your chest, the other near the pillow. The fan turns slowly above you. Your eyes are closed, yet the mind is busy. A sentence someone spoke today rises again. A look. A message that felt sharp, even if it was brief. Your chest tightens slightly. The breath becomes shallow without asking permission. The body prepares, as if something must still be handled. This is the moment many nights are lost. The mind says, "Why did they say that? What did I do wrong? What should I have said instead?" Not because you enjoy this turning, but because the mind believes it is protecting you. This is the psychological knot. The habit of taking experience and wrapping it tightly around the idea of me. My worth. My mistake. My failure. In our families, in our work, in our duties, we are taught early to be responsible for harmony. To adjust. To anticipate. To carry the emotional weight of the room. So when something feels off, the mind turns inward and says, "It must be me." The Buddha looked directly at this habit. He did not call it weakness. He called it misunderstanding. He offered a teaching known as anatta. Non-self. Not meaning you do not exist, but meaning there is no fixed, solid self that needs to be defended in every moment. Thoughts arise. Emotions arise. Reactions arise. But they are events, not identity. Just as clouds pass through the night sky without becoming the sky itself. Experiences pass through awareness without becoming who you are. Much of our suffering comes from mistaking movement for essence. From believing every reaction says something final about us. Let me tell you about a man named Arun. Arun worked in an office where words were often indirect. Feedback came wrapped in silence, in tone, in raised eyebrows during meetings. Each evening, he carried these moments home. At dinner, his food tasted flat. At night, his mind replayed the day like a trial. One comment from his manager would echo for hours. His body would tighten. Sleep would stay away. He believed he was failing. Not just at work. At being a worthy person. One night, after many such evenings, Arun sat on the edge of his bed and noticed something simple. His thoughts were loud, but his body was still breathing. The breath had not joined the argument. He remembered a teaching he once heard, that the self we defend so fiercely is often only a bundle of habits and fear. That night, he did not try to fix his thoughts. He only watched them come and go. The next day, the same manager spoke the same way. Nothing externally changed, but something inside had shifted. Arun saw that the words did not land on a solid target. They landed on passing sensations. His work did not rise or fall with tone. It simply remained. This is the quiet power of non-self. You stop fighting every wave as if it threatens your existence. You let experience move without engraving it into identity. Now, let us practice gently. If you are lying down, allow the body to be supported by the bed. If you are listening while resting, you do not need to change anything. Soften the jaw. Let the tongue rest easily. Allow the shoulders to sink downward. Place one hand on the belly if that feels comfortable. Breathe in through the nose for a slow count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale gently for a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. Inhale 4. Exhale 8. And once more. Longer out than in. As you breathe, notice a thought that has been looping tonight. Do not analyze it. Just notice it as a sound in the mind. Now ask quietly within yourself. Is this thought who I am? Or is it something passing through me? You do not need an answer. The question itself loosens the grip. With the next exhale, imagine gently placing that thought down beside the bed. Not throwing it away. Just resting it. Silently offer yourself this phrase. I am not required to carry every thought to bed. Feel how the body responds. Even slightly. Non-self does not mean indifference. It means freedom from unnecessary weight. In the Indian tradition, we speak of Atman as that which witnesses. Steady. Unmoved. Thoughts belong to the field of movement, not to the witness itself. Tonight, you are allowed to rest as the witness, not the judge, not the defender. When you stop taking everything personally, the night becomes kinder. Sleep finds space. In the next teaching, we will explore how the heart can soften without losing strength. How kindness can protect rather than exhaust you. For now, remain here, breathing, unburdened. The second teaching, loving kindness, softening without submitting. It is later now. The night has deepened. Perhaps you have turned once or twice in bed. Perhaps the body has grown warmer under the blanket. The mind, though quieter than before, still listens for something. A memory appears. Not sharp, just tender. Someone you care about. Someone who needed you. Someone whose words asked more than you had left to give. Your chest feels slightly heavy. Not with anger. With fatigue mixed with love. This is another place sleep often slips away. The heart says, I must stay open. The body says, I am tired. The psychological knot here is subtle. Many kind people know it well. You have learned that being loving means enduring. That being good means staying available. That softness requires self-sacrifice. So even at night, the heart stays alert, listening, ready. The Buddha saw this suffering clearly. He did not teach loving kindness as endless giving. He taught it as a state of the heart that does not harm itself. He called it metta, loving kindness, not attachment, not submission, but a steady wish for well-being, including your own. In Indian wisdom, this balance is familiar. In the Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna to act with compassion, but without losing alignment with Dharma. True kindness does not abandon truth. It rests inside it. Let me tell you about a woman named Meera. Meera was known in her family as the one who always understood. She listened. She adjusted. She smoothed conflict quietly. If someone was upset, she absorbed it. If someone was disappointed, she tried to fix it. By night, Her body ached with tiredness. By morning, she felt hollow. Still, she believed this was love. One evening, after a long day of tending to everyone else, Meera sat alone on her bed. Her phone lay beside her, silent at last. Her heart felt tight. She noticed a strange thing. She was kind to everyone, but harsh with herself. Any need she felt was dismissed. Any limit she reached was ignored. She remembered a teaching she had once heard. That matter begins at home, in the heart that practices it. That night, Meera tried something different. When a familiar wave of guilt arose, she did not push it away. She met it gently. She placed her hand on her chest and whispered inwardly, "May I be at ease?" Not loudly, not forcefully, just honestly. The next day, nothing dramatic happened. Her family remained the same. Their needs remained real. But Meera felt something new. A boundary that was not hard. A softness that did not leak her strength away. This is the essence of loving kindness. It does not say yes to everything. It says yes to well-being. It does not require you to disappear. It requires you to remain present without self-harm. Now let us practice together. If you are lying down, let the body settle. If you are listening with eyes open, simply soften the gaze. Allow the breath to return to its natural rhythm. No counting needed now. Place one hand on the heart, or wherever you feel warmth. Notice the simple fact that you are here. Breathing. Listening. Begin by offering kindness inward. Silently, gently, say within yourself, "May I be safe." Pause for one natural breath. "May I be peaceful." Another breath. "May I be at ease with things as they are right now." Notice if any resistance appears. A voice that says this is selfish or unnecessary. Do not argue with it. Just include it. Now, if it feels natural, bring to mind someone you care about easily. Someone whose presence softens you. Offer the same wish. May you be safe. May you be peaceful. Let the breath stay unforced. Now, gently, bring to mind someone neutral. Not close. Not difficult. Offer them the same simple kindness. Finally, if it feels possible, bring to mind someone who has been draining. Not the most painful. Just someone mildly difficult. You are not excusing their behavior. You are not inviting closeness. You are offering freedom from suffering. May you be at ease. May you find peace. Then return the attention to yourself. Feel the body on the bed. Supported. Loving kindness is not an emotion you force. It is a posture you rest into. When practiced this way, it protects the heart rather than exhausting it. Softness becomes strength. As the night continues, you may notice the heart relaxing. Not collapsing. Relaxing. In the next teaching, we will return fully to the breath itself. The simplest doorway home. For now, rest in this gentle warmth. The third teaching, Mindfulness of Breathing. Returning home. It is very late now. The night has grown still in a deeper way. The sounds outside have thinned. Traffic has softened into a distant memory. Inside the room, there is only the quiet rhythm of air moving. You may be lying on your side now, or flat on your back. Perhaps the blanket has shifted. Your body knows it is time to rest. But the mind still wanders. Not urgently, just restlessly. This is often how sleep resists us. Not with noise, but with gentle drifting. Thoughts float in and out. Images. Small plans. Fragments of tomorrow. The psychological knot here is subtle and familiar. The mind has been traveling all day. From task to task. From person to person. At night, when there is nothing left to do, it does not know where to land. So it keeps moving. Not because it wants to disturb you, but because it has forgotten where home is. The Buddha understood this deeply. He did not ask the mind to stop. He offered it a place to return. He called this anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, not breath control, not breath improvement, simply knowing the breath as it is, in and out, here and now. The breath is the one companion that never leaves you, through joy, through loss, through effort and rest. In Indian wisdom, the breath has always been sacred. Prana, life moving itself. When attention rests on the breath, the mind is no longer lost in yesterday or tomorrow. It touches the present without effort. Let me tell you about a woman named Kavita. Kavita was a school teacher. Her days were filled with voices, questions, responsibilities that never fully ended. By the time night came, her body was exhausted, but her mind stayed awake. She would lie in bed reviewing lessons, conversations with parents, worries about students she could not help enough. She believed rest would come once she solved everything. It never did. One evening, after another sleepless night, Kavita sat quietly on her bed. She noticed her breath, not deliberately, just incidentally. It was short, high in the chest. She placed one hand on her belly. The breath deepened on its own. She remembered a simple teaching, that the breath knows how to settle the mind, better than the mind knows how to settle itself. That night, she did not chase sleep. She stayed with breathing, in, out. When thoughts came, she did not argue. She returned. The first night, sleep came slowly, but it came. Over time, something changed. The breath became a doorway, a signal to the body that it was safe to rest. The mind learned where to land. This is the quiet miracle of mindfulness of breathing. It is not dramatic. It is reliable. Now, let us practice together. If you are lying down, allow the body to be heavy. Let the bed hold you completely. If you are seated or listening, keep the posture easy. There is nothing to achieve here. Bring attention to the natural breath. Do not change it yet. Notice where you feel it most clearly. The nostrils, the chest, the belly. Choose one place gently. Let attention rest there. Now begin a soft rhythm. Breathe in through the nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale slowly for a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. Inhale 4. Exhale 8. Let the exhale be like a letting go, as if the body is releasing the day. One more time. Inhale. Exhale longer. Now allow the breath to return to its natural flow. Thoughts will appear. This is not a problem. Each time you notice one, acknowledge it softly, and return to the breath. Not with irritation, with kindness. The breath is patient. It will always be there when you return. Now ask yourself quietly, what happens when I stop following thought? And stay with breathing. Stay with this question for one breath. No answer is required. Notice the body, the jaw, the shoulders, the belly. Allow each to soften slightly with every exhale. In the Buddha teaching, the breath is called a home, not because it traps you, but because it receives you without question. You do not need to deserve the breath. You do not need to earn it. It arrives. It leaves. All night long. When the mind rests with breathing, the nervous system settles. The heart rate slows. Sleep begins to feel invited, rather than chased. If you notice drowsiness now, do not resist it. If thoughts continue, let them pass like distant sounds. You are learning a skill that works every night, even on difficult days, even when emotions are heavy. The breath does not ask for explanations. In this way, mindfulness of breathing is an act of trust. Trusting that the present moment is enough. Trusting that rest will come when the body feels safe. As the night deepens, let attention become lighter. You do not need to stay alert, just present. In the next teaching, we will explore how pausing before words can protect peace. For now, remain with the breath. In, out. If you fall asleep here, the teaching has done its work. If you remain awake, the breath will stay with you. Shall I continue with the next teaching when you are ready? The fourth teaching, right speech. Pausing before reacting. It is very late now. The kind of late where even thinking feels heavy. You may have turned again in bed. Perhaps the pillow is cool on one side. Perhaps the body has softened, but the mind suddenly tightens. A conversation returns. Not the whole thing. Just one moment. A sentence you wish you had not said. Or a sentence you wish you had said differently. The body reacts before the thought is complete. A tightening in the throat. A small clench in the jaw. The mind begins to rehearse. Next time I will explain better. Next time I will defend myself. Next time I will say what I really mean. This is another way sleep slips away. The psychological knot here is the urge to respond. To correct. To protect. To make sure the world understands you. Speech is powerful. It shapes relationships. It shapes memory. It shapes how we see ourselves when the day ends. Many of us carry the weight of words into the night. Words spoken too quickly. Words swallowed too long. The Buddha looked carefully at this human habit. He did not say silence is always good. He did not say speech is dangerous. He taught right speech. Not perfect speech. Not clever speech. Speech that arises from awareness rather than reaction. Right speech begins before the mouth opens. It begins in the pause. In the Eightfold Path, right speech is part of living in alignment. In Indian thought, speech is linked to karma. Not as punishment, but as consequence. Words leave traces. In others. In yourself. Let me tell you about a man named Raghav. Raghav was known for his sharp tongue. Not cruel, but quick. At work, he responded fast. At home, he corrected often. People described him as honest, direct. But at night, Raghav could not sleep easily. His mind replayed arguments. Messages sent. Messages left unsent. His chest felt tight, as if he was still in the conversation. One evening, after a particularly tense exchange with his brother, Raghav lay awake staring at the ceiling. He noticed something uncomfortable. He had spoken to be right, not to be true. The words had come from heat, not clarity. The Buddha taught that speech rooted in anger carries suffering forward, not only to the listener, but to the speaker. Raghav began to observe a simple pattern. Every time he spoke without pausing, his body stayed agitated long after. Every time he paused, even if the conversation remained difficult, his body softened sooner. This is the wisdom of right speech. It is not about controlling others. It is about protecting peace. Speech that is rushed keeps the nervous system alert. Speech that is mindful allows the body to settle. Especially at night. Let us look gently at how reaction happens. A word is heard. A tone is felt. Before thought finishes forming, the body prepares to strike or defend. This is ancient. This is human. The Buddha never blamed the body for this. He simply showed a way through it. He taught that between stimulus and speech, there is a breath. That breath is freedom. In the Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that action guided by awareness does not bind. The same is true of speech. When words arise from stillness, they do not cling to you afterward. Let me return to Raghav. One night, instead of rehearsing his reply, he tried something different. He noticed the urge to speak in his mind. And he did nothing. Not suppression. Just waiting. He took 3 slow breaths. On the third breath, something loosened. The need to win faded. The need to be understood softened. What remained was simple clarity. Sometimes the clearest response is silence. Sometimes it is fewer words. Over time, Raghav noticed a change. He still spoke honestly, but not urgently. His nights grew quieter. This is not coincidence. The body remembers unfinished battles, especially verbal ones. Now, let us practice together. If you are lying down, let the body be supported. If you are listening with eyes open, soften the gaze. Allow the shoulders to drop. Unclench the jaw. Notice the throat, a place where many words wait. Take one slow breath in and exhale fully. Now imagine a recent moment when you felt reactive. Not the most painful, just a small one. Notice where it lives in the body. Chest, throat, belly. Do not judge it. Now we practice the pause. Take 3 slow breaths before any imagined response. First breath. Inhale slowly. Exhale fully. Second breath. Notice the urge to speak. Do nothing. Third breath. Feel the space open. Ask yourself gently, if I speak now, will this bring peace? Or will it carry agitation forward? Stay with the question for 1 breath. No answer is required. With the next exhale, silently offer this phrase. I choose response, not reaction. Feel how the body responds. Even slightly. Right speech does not mean you never speak. It means you speak from steadiness. This is especially important for sleep. When words are unresolved, the mind stays awake to finish the conversation. When speech is mindful, the body knows it can rest. In Indian households, we are taught to respect words, to weigh them, to honor silence, not as fear, as wisdom. Silence is not absence. It is presence without friction. The Buddha practiced noble silence often, not because he had nothing to say, but because silence allowed clarity to arise. Tonight, you are allowed to let conversations end, even unfinished ones. You do not need to resolve everything before sleep. Right speech also includes speech toward yourself. The inner commentary, the self-correction, the mental arguments. These too can be paused. Notice a sentence you have been repeating inwardly tonight. Something critical, something demanding. Take 1 breath and let it pass without reply. You are not required to answer every thought. As the night deepens, let the mouth rest. Let the mind rest from speech. In the next teaching, we will explore how action aligned with self-respect creates deeper rest. For now, remain in the quiet that follows a pause. The 5th teaching, right action, choosing self-respect. It is deep into the night now. The kind of night where the body wants to sink, but the mind quietly reviews what you did today. Not what you said, but what you allowed. A moment returns. You agreed when something inside you hesitated. You stayed when you were already tired. You took on one more responsibility even as your chest felt heavy. The body remembers this, often more clearly than the mind. A dull ache in the shoulders, a tightness in the lower back, a fatigue that sleep alone does not dissolve. This is another reason rest feels distant. The psychological knot here is not about effort. It is about self-respect. Many people believe exhaustion comes from doing too much. Often, it comes from doing what is not aligned, from acting against the quiet wisdom of the body. In our lives, especially in family and work, we are taught to be useful, to be accommodating, to put duty before discomfort. There is dignity in duty, but there is also dharma in knowing your limits. The Buddha spoke of right action as part of the Eightfold Path. Not action that looks good, not action that pleases everyone, action that does not create suffering, including suffering within yourself. Right action asks a gentle but firm question. Does this action lead to harm? Or does it lead to peace? This question is rarely asked at night, but the body answers it anyway. Let me tell you about a woman named Sunita. Sunita was respected everywhere she went. At work, she was reliable. At home, she was the one everyone depended on. She rarely said no, not because she wanted praise, but because she feared letting people down. Each day, she moved quickly from one obligation to another. Each night, she collapsed into bed, only to find her mind racing and her body aching. She told herself she was strong. She told herself this was just life. But one night, after agreeing to something she knew she could not manage, Sunita noticed a quiet anger inside. Not at others, at herself. She had crossed her own boundary again. The Buddha taught that action rooted in fear binds us, even if it looks virtuous. Sunita began to see a pattern. Whenever she acted against her inner yes, sleep was restless. Whenever she honored her limits, even if someone was disappointed, her body rested more deeply. This is the wisdom of right action. It is not dramatic. It is not rebellious. It is deeply respectful of life energy. In Indian philosophy, action aligned with Dharma supports harmony. Action against Dharma creates friction. Not as punishment, as consequence. The body feels this immediately. Now let us look closely at how misalignment happens. You feel a no. Small. Quiet. The mind overrides it. Just this once. They need me. It will be awkward to refuse. The body tenses. But you proceed anyway. Later, when the world is quiet, the body speaks louder. Tension. Restlessness. Difficulty sleeping. This is not weakness. It is intelligence. The Buddha trusted the body as a teacher. Right action is not about morality alone. It is about nervous system safety. When you act in ways that honor your limits, the body feels protected. Protected bodies rest. Let us return to Sunita. One evening, she was asked to take on another task. Her calendar was full. Her energy was low. She paused. Not outwardly. Inwardly. She noticed the breath tighten at the thought of saying yes. She noticed relief at the thought of saying no. This time, she listened. She responded simply, "I am not able to take this on right now." Her voice was calm. Her hands were steady. The reaction was not disastrous. Some disappointment. Some silence. But that night, Sunita slept deeply. Her body knew she had chosen alignment. This is what right action feels like. Quiet. Grounded. Unapologetic. Now, let us practice gently. If you are lying down, allow the body to settle. Let the legs rest heavily. Notice the points of contact. The back against the mattress. The weight of the blanket. Bring one hand to the belly if that feels natural. Take a slow breath in through the nose. Exhale longer than the inhale. Again. Longer out than in. Now bring to mind one action from today that felt slightly off. Not the biggest one. Just a small moment of misalignment. Notice where it lives in the body. No judgment. Now bring to mind one action where you honored yourself. Even something simple. Notice how the body responds. Right action is felt, not argued. Ask yourself quietly, what would it feel like to choose this more often? Stay with the question for one breath. Now imagine your hands unclenching, fingers loosening. With the next exhale, offer this phrase inwardly. I am allowed to choose what supports my peace. Feel how the body receives this. Right action does not mean withdrawing from life. It means participating without self-betrayal. You can be kind without being drained. You can be responsible without being depleted. This teaching is especially important for sleep. When you act against yourself, the mind stays awake to protect you. When you act with self-respect, the mind relaxes its guard. In our culture, sacrifice is often praised, but the Buddha taught the middle way. Not indulgence, not self-denial. Balance. Action that nourishes. Tonight, you are allowed to rest from fixing, from rescuing, from overgiving. The body is already doing enough. In the next teaching, we will explore how to remain steady, even when life is unpredictable. For now, let the body rest in the knowledge that you chose yourself where it mattered. The sixth teaching, equanimity, staying steady in storms. The night has moved into its deepest hours now. The kind of hour where even the clock seems to breathe slowly. You may feel your body heavier, the edges of thought softer, and yet, somewhere inside, there is a quiet alertness. Not anxiety, not urgency, just a sense that life is uncertain. A memory drifts in, something unresolved, something that did not go as planned. Your breath pauses for a moment. The body tightens slightly. This is where many people wake in the night. Not from noise, but from the feeling that things are not fully settled. The psychological knot here is the need for things to be different, for outcomes to be secure, for people to behave in ways that reassure you. When life feels unstable, the mind tries to stabilize it by worrying, by planning, by replaying. But equanimity offers another way. The Buddha spoke of upekkha, equanimity, not indifference, not coldness, but a deep inner steadiness that does not collapse when conditions change. In Indian wisdom, this quality is familiar. In the Gita, Krishna speaks of the person who remains balanced in success and failure, pleasure and pain, not because they do not care, but because they are rooted deeper than circumstance. Equanimity is the ground beneath emotion. Let me tell you about a man named Mahesh. Mahesh had lived through many changes. A business that once flourished and then failed. A child who moved far away. A parent whose health declined slowly. On the surface, he handled things well. He did what was needed. He showed up. But at night, his mind would not rest. Each uncertainty returned. What if this gets worse? What if I am not prepared? What if I lose control? His body stayed alert, even in sleep. One evening, sitting alone in the quiet of his room, Mahesh noticed something simple. No matter how much he worried, life continued to unfold in its own way. Worry did not prevent change. It only prevented rest. The Buddha taught that equanimity arises when we see clearly what is within our control and what is not. Mahesh began to reflect on this gently. He could act where action was needed and release what was beyond him. Not all at once. Slowly. This is how equanimity grows. Not by force, by understanding. Equanimity does not say, everything is fine. It says, I can meet whatever comes without losing myself. This is especially important at night. When the world sleeps, the mind often tries to solve life. But life is not solved. It is lived. Equanimity allows the nervous system to stand down. The body no longer needs to stay on guard. Let us look gently at how reactivity fades into steadiness. Something unexpected happens. The body reacts. This is natural. Equanimity does not remove this first response. It softens the second one. The second arrow. The Buddha taught that pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Pain is the event. Suffering is the resistance to it. Equanimity reduces resistance. It allows experience to pass without becoming a storm. Let us return to Mahesh. One night, when worry returned as usual, he tried something new. Instead of following the thought, he stayed with the feeling beneath it. A tightness in the chest. A flutter in the belly. He breathed longer out than in. He did not argue with life. He said inwardly, this too is part of the path. Not resignation. Acceptance. Over time, his nights changed. Uncertainty remained. But fear loosened its grip. His body learned that it could rest, even when answers were not complete. This is equanimity in practice. Now, let us practice together. If you are lying down, let the body be fully supported. If you are listening, allow the spine to soften. Notice the natural rhythm of the breath. Now gently lengthen the exhale. Let it be a little longer than the inhale. Again. Feel the body responding. Bring to mind something uncertain in your life right now. Not the most overwhelming. Just something unresolved. Notice how the body reacts. Do not judge it. Now ask yourself quietly, is this within my control right now? If the answer is no, allow the shoulders to drop slightly. With the next exhale, imagine placing this concern into something larger than you. Dharma, life, the unfolding path. Silently offer this phrase. I trust the path unfolding, even when I do not see it clearly. Stay with the breath for a few moments. Equanimity is not passive. It is grounded. It allows wise action to arise without panic. In the Indian tradition, surrender is not weakness. It is alignment with a greater order. Equanimity is surrender without collapse. As the night deepens, you may notice a quiet spaciousness. Thoughts still come, but they do not demand attention. This is the mind learning to rest without guarantees. In the next teaching, we will explore how suffering multiplies and how it can end. For now, remain here, steady, held. If sleep comes, let it come. If wakefulness remains, let it be gentle. Equanimity walks with you either way. The seventh teaching, the two arrows, ending secondary suffering. The night is quiet now, not empty. Quiet in a way that lets smaller sensations be heard. Perhaps you feel a dull ache somewhere, behind the eyes, in the neck, in the chest where feelings tend to gather. Or perhaps there is a low emotional discomfort. Not sharp, just present. This is often when the mind becomes alert again. It notices the discomfort and begins to circle it. Why is this still here? Why can I not rest? What is wrong with me? The body tightens a little more. The breath shortens. This is how one small discomfort becomes a long night. The psychological knot here is not pain itself. It is what the mind does next. The Buddha spoke about this with great clarity. He called it the teaching of the two arrows. The first arrow is unavoidable. Pain, disappointment, fatigue, loss. The second arrow is optional. The story we add, the resistance, the self-blame. Most of our suffering at night comes from the second arrow. The first arrow may be a tired body, a lonely feeling, an unresolved situation. The second arrow sounds like this. I should be stronger. Others can handle this. Why am I like this? This second arrow is what keeps the nervous system awake. In Indian wisdom, suffering is not seen as a failure. It is a signal, a teacher. But when we fight the signal, the lesson becomes pain. Let me tell you about a man named Prakash. Prakash had been caring for his elderly father for years. He did it with sincerity, with duty. But his body was exhausted, and his heart was quietly grieving the life he no longer had. At night, his lower back hurt. His chest felt heavy. The first arrow was real. But his mind added another layer. I should not complain. Others have it worse. I am being weak. Each thought tightened his body further. Sleep became shallow. Rest never complete. One night, sitting alone after his father had fallen asleep, Prakash noticed something important. The pain in his body was one thing. The harshness toward himself was another. The Buddha taught that the second arrow is self-inflicted. Not because we choose it consciously, but because we have learned to judge pain instead of meeting it. Prakash decided to experiment. That night, when the ache returned, he did not explain it. He did not compare it. He simply noticed it. A sensation. Changing. Breathing. Something softened. The pain did not disappear. But the fight ended. This is the power of the two arrows teaching. You stop turning discomfort into identity. Now let us look closely at how the second arrow forms. A sensation arises. The body reacts. This is natural. Then the mind interprets. This should not be happening. This means something is wrong. That interpretation creates fear. Fear tightens the body. Tightness amplifies sensation. And the cycle continues. The Buddha did not ask us to deny pain. He asked us to stop wounding ourselves on top of it. Let us return to Prakash. Over time, he practiced a simple recognition. This is the first arrow. I will not add the second. He noticed that compassion toward pain did more than resistance ever had. His nights slowly changed. Not because life became easy, but because he stopped fighting what was already there. This is not resignation. It is wisdom. Now, let us practice together. If you are lying down, allow the body to rest fully. Let the weight be supported. Notice any discomfort present right now, physical or emotional. Do not label it good or bad. Just notice it. Now notice the thoughts around it. Any commentary, any judgment. This is the second arrow forming. Take a slow breath in and a longer breath out. With the exhale, imagine setting down the commentary. Not the sensation, just the story. Silently say within yourself, this is the first arrow. I do not need to add another. Stay with the sensation as sensation. Notice that it moves, changes. You are not required to like it, only to stop attacking yourself for having it. In the Indian tradition, endurance is often praised, but the Buddha taught a deeper endurance. Endurance without self-cruelty. When you stop adding the second arrow, the body feels safer. Safe bodies sleep more easily. Now notice the breath again. Natural, unforced. Let it move around the discomfort. Not into it, not away from it, just around. Ask yourself quietly, what happens if I allow this moment to be as it is? Stay with the question for one breath. No answer needed. You may notice a small release, a drop in effort. This is the nervous system standing down. The Buddha said that suffering multiplies when we cling and resist. When clinging ends, suffering reduces to its natural size. The first arrow remains, but it becomes workable. As the night continues, remember this simple distinction. Pain is part of being human. Self-punishment is not. You are allowed to rest. Even when something hurts. You are allowed to sleep. Even when life is imperfect. In the next teaching, we will explore the wisdom of not responding, of allowing silence to do the work words cannot. For now, remain here, breathing, unburdened by the second arrow. The eighth teaching, noble silence. When not responding is wisdom. The night has thinned into a soft stillness now. Not the silence of emptiness. The silence of things finally resting where they are. Your body may feel warm, heavy in a pleasant way. Thoughts still arise, but more slowly. And yet, something stirs. A message not replied to. A conversation left open. A feeling that you should say something. Even now. Even at this hour. The psychological knot here is subtle but powerful. The belief that responding will bring relief. That explanation will create peace. That words will close what feels unfinished. Many nights are lost to this belief. The mind prepares sentences, rehearses tone, defends itself against imagined misunderstanding. The body stays alert. The Buddha understood this deeply. He did not teach silence as avoidance. He taught noble silence. Silence that arises from clarity. Not fear. Not suppression. Silence that knows when words will add suffering rather than reduce it. In the Pali tradition, noble silence is not merely the absence of speech. It is the absence of unwise speech. Speech that comes from agitation, from ego, from the need to control perception. In Indian wisdom, silence has always been sacred. Mauna, not as withdrawal from life, but as a return to truth before distortion. Let me tell you about a woman named Anjali. Anjali was thoughtful, sensitive. She cared deeply about being understood. When conflict arose, She felt an immediate need to explain herself, to clarify intentions, to smooth tension. Often, her explanations were kind, careful, but they came too soon. At night, Anjali would replay conversations. She would draft messages in her mind. Sometimes she would send them. Sometimes she would not. Either way, sleep escaped her. One evening, after a long exchange that only seemed to create more confusion, Anjali sat quietly on her bed. Her phone was in her hand. The message box open. Her body felt tight. Her breath shallow. She noticed something important. Every word she wanted to send came from a place of urgency. Not truth. Urgency. The Buddha taught that urgency is really wise. Anjali remembered a simple teaching. That not every reaction deserves expression. That silence can be a response. That night, she did something unfamiliar. She put the phone face down and did nothing. At first, discomfort rose. What if they misunderstand? What if this makes things worse? She breathed. The urge passed. Something unexpected followed. Relief. Her body softened. Her breath deepened. Sleep came quietly. This is the quiet power of noble silence. It ends the cycle of agitation. Let us look closely at why silence can feel threatening. Speech gives the illusion of control. If I explain, they will see. If I respond, I will be safe. But often, speech spoken too soon keeps the nervous system activated. Silence allows the system to settle. The Buddha often remained silent when questions were asked from confusion rather than readiness. Not because he lacked compassion, but because words would not help in that moment. Silence was the teaching. Let us return to Anjali. Over time, she began to practice a simple discernment. Is this response arising from clarity or from discomfort? If it was discomfort, she waited. Not forever. Just long enough for the body to settle. Sometimes she spoke later, with fewer words. Sometimes she never needed to speak at all. Her nights changed. Not because life became simpler, but because she stopped carrying conversations to bed. This is noble silence in daily life. It is especially important for sleep. Unspoken urgency keeps the body alert. Wise silence tells the body it is safe to rest. Now, let us practice gently together. If you are lying down, allow the body to be held by the bed. If you are listening, soften the face. Notice the mouth, the tongue. Let them rest. Notice the throat, a place where many words gather. Take one slow breath in. Exhale fully. Now bring to mind something you feel compelled to respond to. Not the most intense, just something unresolved. Notice the urge to speak. Where do you feel it? Chest, throat, jaw. Do not judge it. Now take 3 slow breaths. First breath. Feel the urge. Second breath. Do nothing. Third breath. Notice the space that opens. Ask yourself quietly, if I do not respond right now, will harm occur? Often, the answer is no. With the next exhale, offer this phrase inwardly. I allow silence to protect my peace. Feel how the body receives this. Noble silence does not mean you never speak. It means you speak when words are useful. Silence is not passive. It is active restraint rooted in wisdom. In family life, in relationships, silence can prevent unnecessary wounds. It allows time for emotions to settle. At night, silence allows the mind to loosen its grip. Notice now how little needs to be said. The room is quiet. The body is breathing. Nothing requires explanation. Even your thoughts do not need answers. You are allowed to leave them unanswered tonight. The Buddha said that peace is found not by adding, but by subtracting. Subtracting unnecessary words, unnecessary reactions. As the night continues, practice noble silence inwardly as well. When a thought arises, you do not need to reply to it. Let it speak into silence. Silence is vast. It does not argue. In the next teaching, we will explore how clear seeing frees you from projection. For now, rest here. No explaining. No defending. No responding. Just quiet presence. The ninth teaching, clear seeing. Recognizing projection. The night feels thinner now. As if the mind has fewer places to hide. Your body is close to rest. Breathing slow. Limbs heavy. And yet, an image appears. A person. A face. A memory connected to emotion. Not loud. But persistent. This is often the last doorway the mind passes through before sleep. The psychological knot here is subtle. The habit of believing that what you see is exactly what is there. The habit of mistaking inner experience for outer truth. The Buddha called this lack of clear seeing. Not blindness, but distortion. Seeing the world not as it is, but as it is filtered through fear, desire, memory, and habit. In the Pali teachings, this is called vipassana. Clear seeing. Not analysis. Not judgment. Simply seeing what is happening, without adding what is not. In Indian wisdom, this is close to the idea of Maya. Not illusion as something fake, but illusion as misperception. Taking shadows for substance. Let me tell you about a man named Dev. Dev was thoughtful, intelligent, highly perceptive, or so he believed. When someone was quiet, he assumed disapproval. When someone was distant, he assumed rejection. When someone disagreed, he assumed disrespect. These interpretations felt immediate, true. His body reacted instantly. Chest tight. Mind alert. At night, Dev replayed interactions. He built stories. He defended himself inwardly. Sleep came late. One evening, after a particularly restless night, Dev noticed something that unsettled him. Two people had reacted differently to the same situation. Yet he had taken both reactions personally. This created a crack. What if my interpretations are not facts? The Buddha taught that the mind projects constantly. It fills in gaps. It assumes intention. Not because it is malicious, but because it is trained to protect. Projection is the mind trying to stay safe. But safety built on misperception creates suffering. Dev began to observe a simple pattern. When something felt painful, he immediately decided what it meant. They think less of me. I am not valued. I am being judged. These were conclusions, not observations. Clear seeing begins when we separate sensation from story. Let us look closely. Someone speaks briefly. That is the event. The body reacts. That is sensation. The mind interprets. That is projection. Most suffering comes from the third step. The Buddha taught that clear seeing does not remove sensation. It removes distortion. Dev decided to experiment. The next time a familiar discomfort arose, he paused before concluding. He asked himself one quiet question. What do I actually know for certain? Not what do I fear? Not what do I assume? Just what is known. Often, the answer was very little. A tone. A silence. A message without warmth. Everything else was interpretation. Over time, something softened. When projection loosened, the body felt safer. Sleep came earlier. This is the quiet power of clear seeing. It releases you from carrying stories that are not proven. Now let us practice together. If you are lying down, let the body be supported. If you are listening, soften the eyes. Notice the breath as it is. Now bring to mind a recent interaction that still has emotional charge. Not the most painful, just one that lingers. Notice the first layer, the raw facts. What was said? What was done? Now notice the second layer, the interpretation. What you decided it meant. Notice how the body responds to that interpretation. Tightness, alertness. Now, gently, imagine setting the interpretation aside. Not rejecting it, just placing it down. Return attention to the raw facts only. Notice how the body responds now. Often, there is space. This space is clear seeing. Now ask yourself quietly, what might I be projecting here? Stay with the question for one breath. No answer required. With the next exhale, offer this phrase inwardly. I allow reality to be simpler than my fear. Feel how the body receives this. Clear seeing does not mean trusting everyone. It means trusting perception less blindly. It allows wisdom to replace assumption. In relationships, clear seeing prevents unnecessary suffering. In sleep, it allows the mind to let go of unresolved stories. The Buddha said that when ignorance fades, peace arises naturally. Ignorance here does not mean stupidity. It means not seeing clearly. As the night deepens, you are allowed to release interpretations. You do not need to solve other people tonight. You do not need to understand everything. Let reality rest without commentary. Notice now how quiet the room is. Nothing is asking to be explained. In the next teaching, we will arrive at the deepest knot of all. The need to control. For now, rest in the simplicity of what is seen. Without addition. The 10th teaching, letting go of control. The night has reached its quietest edge now. Not silence that feels empty. Silence that feels wide. Your body is almost asleep. Breath slow. Limbs heavy. And yet, something still holds on. A subtle tightening. As if part of you is keeping watch. This is often the last barrier before deep rest. The psychological knot here is ancient. The need to control. To manage outcomes. To anticipate danger. To make sure nothing goes wrong. Even now. Even in bed. The mind whispers. What if I forget something? What if tomorrow is difficult? What if things fall apart? The body responds immediately. Muscles stay alert. Sleep stays light. The Buddha spoke gently but clearly about this. Clinging creates suffering. Clinging to pleasure. Clinging to identity. Clinging to control. Control feels like safety. But it often produces tension instead. In Indian wisdom, this is deeply understood. In the Gita, Krishna reminds Arjuna that action is yours. But the fruits of action are not. Trying to control outcomes binds the heart. Releasing outcomes frees it. Letting go of control does not mean giving up. It means recognizing the limits of effort. Let me tell you about a woman named Neha. Neha was capable, organized, responsible. She planned carefully. She thought ahead. She made sure things ran smoothly. People relied on her. She relied on herself. But at night, her mind stayed busy. Lists appeared. Scenarios unfolded. Small uncertainties grew large. Her body never fully rested. One evening, after a particularly long day, Neha noticed something simple and uncomfortable. Even lying in bed, she was still working. Working to hold life together. The Buddha taught that control is often an attempt to avoid fear. Fear of uncertainty. Fear of loss. Fear of not being enough. Neha began to see that her need to control came from care. She cared deeply. But care had turned into tension. One night, exhausted, she stopped trying to fix the future. She lay still and noticed her hands were clenched. Without effort, she allowed them to open. Just slightly. Something shifted. The breath deepened. The chest softened. She realized she had been gripping life as if it might slip away at any moment. This is the core of this teaching. Letting go is not abandonment. It is trust. The Buddha never asked people to stop acting wisely. He asked them to stop pretending they could control everything. Control is exhausting. Trust is restful. Let us look closely at how control shows up at night. The body is still, but the mind scans. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? These thoughts are attempts to prepare. But preparation without rest becomes harm. The Buddha taught that clinging keeps the wheel of suffering turning. Letting go allows the wheel to slow. Let us return to Neha. She began practicing one simple thing before sleep. She noticed where her body held effort. Jaw, shoulders, hands. Each night, she consciously softened, relaxed just one place. Not all at once. One place. She learned that control lives in the body before it lives in thought. As the body softened, the mind followed. Sleep came more easily. This is how letting go works. Not as an idea, as a physical release. Now, let us practice together. If you are lying down, notice the position of your hands. Are they holding something? Even air. If it feels safe, allow the fingers to uncurl. No forcing. Just permission. Now notice the jaw. Let the teeth separate slightly. Notice the shoulders. Allow them to sink. Now bring attention to the breath. Do not control it. Just notice it. With each exhale, imagine effort draining downward, as if the body no longer needs to hold itself together. Now bring to mind something you have been trying to control. Not the biggest thing, just something present. Notice how the body reacts. Where does the effort lie? Chest, belly, hands. With the next long exhale, imagine placing this concern into something larger. Life, Dharma, the unfolding path. Silently offer this phrase inwardly. I release what is not mine to carry tonight. Pause. Notice what happens. Letting go often brings fear at first. The fear of falling apart. But beneath that fear is relief. The Buddha taught that peace is not created. It is revealed when grasping ends. You do not need to hold the night together. The body knows how to sleep. Life knows how to move forward without your constant supervision. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what is beyond you. In the Indian tradition, surrender is not weakness. It is alignment with order beyond the personal will. Tonight, surrender is simple. You stop trying. Stop managing. Stop rehearsing tomorrow. There is nothing you can fix at this hour. Notice how the breath moves on its own. Notice how the heart continues to beat. You are supported more than you realize. As the night holds you, you are allowed to rest inside what you cannot control. This is the deepest rest. Not sleep alone, but trust. Stay here. Hands open. Breath unforced. The 11th teaching, boundaries without guilt. The night is almost complete now. Not ending, but settling into its final depth. Your body is very close to sleep. Breath slow. Thoughts thin, like mist. And yet, one last feeling sometimes remains. A familiar heaviness. Not fear. Not urgency. Guilt. Guilt for resting. Guilt for not doing more. Guilt for choosing yourself. This is the final knot that often keeps people half awake. The psychological knot here is ancient and tender. The belief that boundaries are a form of harm. That saying no makes you unkind. That protecting yourself means failing others. Many good people carry this knot for decades. The Buddha saw this clearly. He did not teach limitless giving. He taught wise compassion. Compassion that includes the one who is giving. In Indian wisdom, Dharma is not self-erasure. It is right alignment. Alignment with truth. Alignment with capacity. A boundary is not rejection. It is clarity. Let me tell you about a man named Suresh. Suresh was dependable. The one people called late at night. The one who never said no. In his family, sacrifice was praised. Endurance was expected. So Suresh learned early that love meant availability. By day, he functioned well. By night, he was exhausted. Sleep came lightly. Left easily. Inside, resentment grew quietly. Not toward others. Toward himself. One evening, after agreeing to yet another request, he did not have the energy to fulfill. Suresh noticed something painful. His yes did not come from generosity. It came from fear. Fear of disappointing. Fear of being seen as selfish. The Buddha taught that actions rooted in fear cannot bring peace. Suresh began to reflect gently. If my yes creates resentment, is it truly kind? This question changed something. He realized that boundaries are not walls. They are thresholds. They say, this is where I end. And you begin. One night, Suresh practiced something new. When a familiar request came, he paused. He noticed the body, the tightening in the chest. And instead of overriding it, he listened. He responded simply, I am not able to help with this right now. No explanation. No apology. His voice trembled slightly. The world did not end. There was disappointment. Silence. But that night, Suresh slept deeply. This is the quiet truth of boundaries. They calm the nervous system. A body that feels respected knows it can rest. The Buddha himself set boundaries. He walked away when people were not ready. He rested when tired. He did not exhaust himself for approval. Boundaries without guilt arise when you understand one thing deeply. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. You are responsible for your conduct, your honesty, your care, but not for how others feel when you honor yourself. Guilt arises when we confuse responsibility with control. Let us look gently at how guilt forms. You feel a limit. The mind says, I should push past this. You imagine disappointment, judgment. The body tightens. This is not conscience. This is conditioning. The Buddha taught that wise action does not require self-punishment. Let us return to Suresh. Over time, he practiced small boundaries. Leaving earlier. Not answering every call. Saying no without explanation. Each time, guilt appeared. And each time, he stayed present. He noticed that guilt rose. And then passed. But resentment, when ignored, stayed. Slowly, his inner balance changed. His yes became sincere. His no became peaceful. His nights grew quieter. This is the fruit of boundaries without guilt. Now, let us practice together. If you are lying down, let the body feel the support beneath you. Notice how much effort it takes to simply be held. Now bring to mind one boundary you wish you had honored recently. Do not judge. Notice the feeling in the body. Now bring to mind one boundary you did honor. Notice the difference. Ask yourself quietly, what does my body need more of? Stay with the question for one breath. Now, with the next exhale, offer this phrase inwardly. I can be kind and still protect my peace. Pause. Let that land. Boundaries are not unloving. They prevent burnout. They preserve genuine connection. When you stop overgiving, your giving becomes real. In the Indian tradition, duty without wisdom leads to bondage. Duty aligned with Dharma leads to peace. Tonight, you are allowed to rest without earning it. You are allowed to say no inwardly to everything that is not required right now. Sleep does not ask for justification. It arrives when the body feels safe. Boundaries tell the body, you are listening. And now, gently, we come to the end. Tonight, you have moved through many teachings, not as ideas, as felt understanding. You have learned how to stop taking everything personally, how to soften without collapsing, how to return home to the breath, how to pause before words, how to choose self-respect, how to stay steady, how to end unnecessary suffering, how to rest in silence, how to see clearly, how to let go of control, and finally, how to honor boundaries without guilt. You do not need to remember all of this. The body remembers what matters. You will forget sometimes. That is human. Return again. Before sleep, take one slow breath. Let the shoulders drop. Ask yourself quietly, what can I set down now? No answer needed. Now allow the night to finish what it has been gently doing all along. Let the mind loosen its grip. Let the body sink. Sleep is not something you must chase. It is something that arrives when you stop pushing it away. Rest now. You have done enough. Conclusion. The night has carried you gently to this place. Not by force. Not by effort. But by allowing. You have moved through many teachings tonight. Not as ideas to remember, but as experiences the body can recognize. You noticed how the mind takes things personally, and how relief comes when it does not have to. You felt how kindness can soften without costing you yourself. You returned, again and again, to the breath that has never left you. You learned how pausing before words lets the heart rest. How choosing self-respect settles the body more deeply than approval ever could. You touched steadiness, even while life remains uncertain. You saw how suffering multiplies only when we add to it. You discovered the quiet strength of silence. You learned to see more clearly, without carrying stories that were never proven. You loosened the grip of control, and felt what trust does to the nervous system. And finally, you honored the truth that boundaries can exist without guilt. You do not need to hold all of this. The mind may forget. The body remembers. Tomorrow, or another night, you may feel restless again. That is not failure. It is simply another invitation to return. Return to the breath. Return to softness. Return to what does not need defending. Before sleep fully takes you, let there be one small gesture of kindness toward yourself. A slow breath in. A longer breath out. Let the shoulders drop. Let the jaw unclench. Ask quietly within, what can I release now? No answer is needed. The night understands. You do not need to solve your life before sleeping. You only need to stop carrying it for a while. Let the body sink. Let the mind loosen. And allow sleep to come. Not as something you must achieve, but as something that arrives when nothing is being resisted. Rest now. You are safe enough to rest.